Welcome to Rip It Up, the Renovations Podcast. I'm Jenny.
I'm Kate, and between us we've renovated a lot of houses and it hasn't scared us off.
In fact, we loved it so much that we can't stop talking about it. So in this podcast, we will give you all the tools and info that you need to tackle your own renovation like a pro.
Today in Rip It Up, we are joined by the inimitable Laura de Barra. She is a 3-time best-selling author and a SheIY expert who is going to tell us everything we should be looking for when viewing property, as well as keeping it all running smoothly once you've moved in. So sit back and prepare yourself for a schooling by the Gaff Goddess herself.
Welcome back to the podcast. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Jen.
And hi, Laura.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We are thrilled to have you. I have something of a personal obsession with you, with your style. So if this gets uncomfortable at any point, you can just ring back in. It's fine.
No, I always say all Gaff Goddesses are just like friends who haven't met yet and haven't gone out for like a cocktail together. Every time I meet someone that likes the books, I'm always like, we'd be friends if we lived near each other at all.
The excitement when you said yes, Laura, is amazing. So listener, if you haven't heard of Laura de Barra, maybe stop listening now. Go look her up. She's the author of one of my favourite books, Gaff Goddess. I really think it's just such a Bible for any homeowner. But there's also plenty to find on your Instagram at Laura de Barra. And I know you're across a whole bunch of radio shows lately and lots of other things. So great to have you. And there's going to be this is going to be a gold mine of an episode.
I'm excited for this.
Okay, well maybe we just start from the start, because you are like, if I go to look you up for a description, you're a property portfolio developer, which is very exciting. Also the most unique speller of the word judge I've ever come across. So can you tell us about your path into property? How did you get into it? What has your work been in it? Tell us everything.
So I studied fashion, worked in fashion for a supplier, like in high street. Not all brands will have their own. They'll have a design department, but they won't design everything. So they use suppliers who develop ranges with them or give them ranges. So I was working for one of them for an amazing boss, a Turkish company. I was loving it, but as I was getting closer to 30, I was like, you're not developing a lot as a designer, you're not paid a lot. It's like, I was thinking I wanted more of a challenge. So I said to him, like, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go work in a boutique brand. And he kept saying, no, like, stay. Because I was head of menswear department at the time. And I was like, no, I have to go. I have to spread my wings. I got to figure it out. I've been here years. And he rang a couple of times and was like, you're deadly serious. Like, boutique brands are really hard to work for. I was like, I'm fine now. I hated the boutique brand. It was all a lot of like office bullying, like people were just really mean. Like I was like, oh, I hate this, but I'm taking this like bet on myself to get out and like grow a bit more. And then on a particularly bad day, he had messaged me and was like, come in, I have an opportunity for you. And because I had worked with him for years, he was like, I think you'd be really good in property. All I want you to do, I'm buying this big portfolio in a certain like space in London, all different flats. I just want you to oversee the operations of it. Like, you're fine, you're organized, you'll do it. I was like, cool. And then when I just started noticing that we were hiring companies to like build all the furniture. But then I noticed the furniture was all IKEA and they were charging us thousands per flat. So I just said, like, let me do the next one. And he was like, okay, like, don't fuck it up. And I was like, I won't. But he was like, we'll give you an extra day than we normally give them. So then I was like, well, I'm going to do it in a day less than what they do. Like, there's a team of 5 people came in. They built the whole table upside down. Like, I would open up cupboards and be like, why is there a pane of glass in here? And realize they forgot to put it in. So they'd try and hide it like under the bed or like, and I was just like, no, fuck this. I can do this quicker and better myself. I'm just going to do it. And with the extra money, I can buy things that tenants want, like kettle, toaster. And he wanted to target people who had moved to London and were coming with a suitcase and they just wanted to move straight in. And then I was like, let's kick it up a notch. Let's do it for people who want to move into a personality and home comforts. So with the extra money, I was like doing artworks, candles. You know, when you, like, I've moved to a new country twice. And your first few nights when you're like, you don't have a candle, you don't, like, you know, they give you like crap knives and forks. So I just started like putting a bit more integrity into the furniture packs. And then what was happening was agents were showing our properties before anyone else's because they knew that people would get into like the flat and be like, I love it. So we started just becoming like one of the best in the area. And then I noticed that when we were buying, same thing was happening. We were just outsourcing and being fucked over. So I was like, I really want to start buying. So they trained me in on the finances and like asset management side. And that just took off. I just started buying all their property then. It was cheaper to do it in-house than paying agency fees. And then during COVID, everything slowed down and I moved to another family office, became their asset manager, and we started buying and unflipping flats, like bringing them back to what they should have been if people had kept the integrity of like the 80s when it was built, or the 50s. And I was just loving that. And now, thank God, because I used to work 7 days a week, I only work with clients as and when, and I just consult on what they need to do. So that could be anything. Somebody could be buying 10 flats in a block. Somebody could just be wanting a commercial property, but I just take them on, find them, and then like guide them through. And I can just chill with it, which I like.
Nice.
Wow. That's an incredible...
You have carved...
I don't know if I know anyone. You have the magic touch. One thing I love about that, and we've talked about this a few times before, because like Kate and I have kind of different levels of DIY expertise, and we've had people on before who aren't really at DIY. Like, what made you think like I can do that? I can build that IKEA thing better. I can paint better, or whatever it is that gets people set up. Like, were you just like, I'll give it a go, I'll see?
No, I was scared shitless.
Or were you just brilliant at building stuff?
I was
and you were like
scared out of my fucking mind, because I think like I was in a new job, I had to pull this off. And then I think I had that kind of like competitive spirit within myself, like where I'm like, if you're going to do it unbelievably, enjoy it, put on Donna Summer, like figure it out. But like we used to always say back in the day, like, you know, a sailor never learns in smooth seas. Like if one sailor's like, come with me in my ship, I've never seen a storm. And another one's like, I've been through 10 storms. You're getting on the 10 storm ship. You know, that way people who who have fuck ups and things go wrong, they're the people that are more experienced. So like I learned a lot through things going wrong more than through things going right. So
okay, well, this is all I want to hear about now is things that went wrong. Like, there's nothing, because like at the time, if you're building something, like the way I lose my temper at inanimate objects, I'm all for building like flat pack, whatever. Like, I'll tackle most things, but oh my God, the fury that builds inside me, like if there's just an instruction that isn't right or something, is unreal. So things going wrong, they feel awful at the time, but obviously it's not a big deal. Most things are fixable, you get through it.
Yeah.
But like, all I want to hear about is what went wrong, like anything major, any like huge fuck up.
Loads of shit goes wrong. Like, I think like a lot of it is like fixing something that someone hasn't taken care. This is why the books are so important for me, to give people like an overview of what you're doing, then a step-by-step guide, and always mention what could go wrong. Because I've been there where like you're like, let's say, drilling into a wall and you're like, fuck. So it's like, it's those kind of moments where I would always be like, if I was teaching someone else to do this, like how, like what would I be telling them, kind of preventative measures. But there's been times when people have like hooked up washing machines behind walls without giving any access panels, and you're having to fucking deal with it, and it's a nightmare. Like, there was flats where every time it rained, the tenants would call me and scream at me. Every time it rained, right? For the entire winter, they would just send me loads of abuse, and rightly so, because the landlord wasn't fixing it on time. But you'd actually be like, it's that stuff when things are going wrong and you actually cannot control it and you can't fix it. Like, there's been stuff during flat packing that's gone wrong. Like, basically an entire wardrobe fell on top of me, and for an hour and a half I just lay under the wardrobe, right? For the first like 20 minutes I was like, I'm dead, oh my God, I am in the afterlife under the wardrobe. Like,
you literally you couldn't get it off you.
No. And you know that Beyonce song where she's like, here lies the body? Like, I was like, that was like me, like under the fucking wardrobe. Because like they always have in most manuals, every time I used to see like two people, I'd be like, fuck off, like, and just like flick to the next page. I'll figure it out. Like, when I build a bed, I always roll up the duvet and stick it under the side of the bed as if it's the other person, and then I'm able to keep like the stuff straight. Like, it's grand. But wardrobe,
okay, no, sorry, this is actually my biggest bugbear in life, is like, I will not make the bed on my own anymore, because I hate it. Like, I don't have a cleaner, and I would consider hiring somebody specifically just to remake my bed every week.
Really?
Like, I just can't. I can't. And I've looked at YouTube tips for, it's putting the thing on the mattresses that are the duvet cover on the duvet just drives me insane. I'm like, this shouldn't be that hard.
Easiest, turn it inside out and just...
What am I doing?
You literally just turn it inside out and put your hands in the corners and just pick the duvet up and just shake it over it, and it just flicks down.
I did see a really cool thing that I want to buy. I saw it at a design fair years ago, Maison Objet, and it clips onto it clips over your door. It has two little grippers, and then you clip the sheet onto it, or the duvet onto it, and then they clip the duvet cover over it, and it
you
like
pull
acts
it
as a second pair of hands.
If you hate making your bed, get the thing that makes you not hate even 5 minutes of your week, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like,
I
if
actually think there's a business idea in that, though. I said that loads of times. Someone to come once a week or every 2 weeks, whatever you change your sheets, and then like bring a set, take it away, launder it, everything, and change it out for you. If I could get into a fresh bed like every Sunday evening, ready for the week,
I would love
Without having done it.
Yeah, I'm
Do you know
with you.
Brendan Courtney? Brendan Courtney was telling me he changes his sheets I think it's every day.
Oh my god.
No, okay, that's excessive.
Yeah, no, but I love when people are like, "This makes me feel good. I do it," especially when it's something.
That's a full-time job.
Especially when it's something everyone else is like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? They can't do the effort, but I just love it. It's like choosing how you want to do your gaff. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is worth it. Little luxuries. Life's worth it. Anyway, okay, so you're stuck under the wardrobe.
Stuck under the wardrobe.
In the afterlife.
The way I had fallen back, because you know that you've got to pick it up, but there's that kind of stage where you're just like, and I'd measured everything and was able to stand back up. Anyway, got stuck under it. But there's that fear, first of all, where you're like, have I broken something? Or like, did I bang my head? Like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I ended up kind of getting out from under it. But it was, yeah, it was hell. And then there's been things where like I've electrocuted myself. Like, it's, you know.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But there's always someone you could, like, you're ringing one of your friends and he's like, oh, my sister's a mess. And you're like, oh my God, amazing. Ring the fucking sister. Like, am I dying? Like, there's just stuff like that. Or like, there's just getting locked out of properties I've had like 4 hours to go. I go out and do the bins, photographer's coming, locked out, locksmith. Like, I had to learn how to pick a certain type of lock as well. Like, it was quicker just to like watch a YouTube video. Like, yeah. And there's been stuff where like I've had stuff where I've walked into a flat and someone who wasn't supposed to be there has been in there, like a previous owner, and really creepy. Like, you've got to call the police, and like, yeah, there's a lot of property brings the most insane surprises.
For sure.
I've had tenants who had an illegal wild animal farm behind our backs, and it was one of the most stressful things. And I had to, when I went in and opened the door afterwards, there was claw marks on the ceiling.
Every word in that sentence just got deeper and deeper into like a bizarre whole, like illegal, wild animal.
Please don't use that as the social tip, because I'm always afraid they're going to come after me. So let's keep that to the podcast. But right. So yeah, like it's just wild, because I guess it's you do what you want in your home, right? And I always think like if you're renting, this is still my home. But the things you see are just, they're nuts. Like the stuff you see at the end of tenancies, or when people sell, like when you've just bought something and you're about to decorate it, it's really interesting.
Oh, God. How did you find out, like, you knew how to do the stuff? Or, like, how did you kind of build a confidence? Because, like, you were saying you watch YouTube videos on certain things or whatever. Did you just kind of, like, build up kind of the types of jobs you did over time? Was it just, like, DIY YouTuber channels? Like, how did you learn it?
I think, like, when I was growing up, my dad was always really handy. And my mum, after my dad had split up, my mum had that attitude of, like, well, you know, no one's going to do it for us. And you're not exactly going to call your ex-husband just after you've been divorced to be like, honey, washing machine's broken. Like, you're not, like, you know. So I think
pride. I'd rather wash it by hand.
Honestly, I'd rather never wash my clothes again. I'd be like, I'm trying out something new. But I think, like, watching her just be like, it has to get, like, no one's going to do it except me. And then, like, I would always been into fixing things anyway. And then, like, I did, in fashion, you do pattern cutting, and pattern cutting is all about, like, problem solving. And you get there in the end, you know, it's like stop, start the whole way along. My brain just works like that. Like, I think I have a more technical, creative brain. So if something has to be built, like, I love it. Like, and I'm obsessed with flat packing. Like, I think,
same.
Isn't it just so fucking satisfying? Like, I
love it.
My friends one of our friends actually just moved house, and she was like, is there any chance you would come over and just help me build some of the flat pack stuff? And I was like, yes. What would you like me to do for you in return for this favor that you were doing me? That's my ideal evening.
Adult Lego.
That's like being asked for like a million martinis because someone's got a load of gossip. If someone's like, can you build a bed? I'm like, bitch, I'm there.
I'm your woman.
You know those TikToks where it's like someone goes like white wine, fries, phones turned around, like a Marlboro light would all, it just gets crazier and crazier. And then it's like, I've got gossip. It would be me, it would be like drill, flat pack manual, bag of screws. Like,
you were talking
maybe
about
a tub of paint if things are going to get messy.
Jen, you mentioned like getting angry at inanimate objects. The one thing though, when I come to the end of a flat pack and there's spare screws, do you know some cheaper brands might throw in a few extra
You can't
or something,
just throw them in the bin.
and I'm like, why do I have these? Did I do something wrong? And then you're almost second guessing your work. But like, no.
And you've got to like count.
Second guessing, like to say I've lost sleep over stuff like this, I'm like, I don't understand.
I count them out at the start. I always do like an A4 page, and I write down the numbers and thing, and then pile them onto it. Because when you're building it, when it's other people's money as well, like if other people have bought these flat packs that I'm building for them, so like I'm always like worried about like, you know, when you finish building a sofa and you just pick up the big screw and you're like, fuck. Like, you're like, fuck, like this is the screw like that keeps like the seat attached to the back of the fucking sofa, and then you've got to flick it all over, take it all apart. It's just
oh no.
So I always,
the one thing I do with those though, the screw, any spare screws, and then the Allen key or whatever else came with that, I always sellotape it to the back of the thing, whatever it might be,
there
because something's going to happen, something's going to come up and you're going to need it, and if you don't, whatever.
But it's easy to tighten up like your kitchen table afterwards, or like chair legs. It's just much easier. And on sofas as well, like we used to do one where I used to just basically like tack on a hair tie, and then I could wrap it around the Allen keys, because tenants move the sofas around, and it's just it's so much easier. Like, you know, people throw out sofas that can just be repaired, like they can just be tightened up, which is crazy.
Yeah. Just a little bit of a rattle or something, like it's so easy to fix. It's like, I know this is such a broad question, but like, what are the biggest things you say to renters, like someone moving into an apartment who's like, oh, it's crap, like I don't like the furniture, like there's rips in the whatever pleather chairs that have been here for 5 years, or like the bathroom's a bit dry. Is there, like, do you have any major, like, in your first 2 weeks, just get this done and you're gonna your whole house, your life is gonna change, your whole apartment's gonna turn around?
I think like first and foremost, it's your space as long as you're paying for it. Like, get in with that attitude. For me, like on any project or anything new, attitude is everything. Like, just saying like, I am going to make this my space, and this isn't going to be like, yes, I've got some shitty furniture here, but this is my home, will change the decisions you're making with it. And I always think like, if you have, sometimes I've gotten into spaces where like landlords are like, we want to keep the couch, and I'm like, you want to keep that heap of shit? Like, that is literally that's reducing your rental income by £25 every single week. If you made that a sofa bed and it was nice and new, you could actually get more rent, but they don't want to hear it, right? Some landlords are just so cheap. So sorry. And basically, I would always just say, if it's a style you don't like, put exactly what you're looking at into Pinterest, and you will start to see how other people have decorated, or what the trend originally came from. I say this in Decor Galore. Sometimes you be like, I don't like this tan sofa, but when you type tan sofa into Pinterest, all of a sudden you're saying, oh, that looks really good with the boho style. Oh, that looks really good with this. Oh, I could use like a deep green that. And your eye starts to get trained into it. It might not be your style. I also think like, you can't do a lot with floor space in rentals usually. So I always say like, shiz up the walls. Like, think about what you can do wall-wise, even with lamps. Like, I don't turn on the big lights in my flat. It's all lamps, and it just changes the atmosphere completely. Like, lighting is something that will change everything. Like, just light up.
Speaking our language here.
Little areas.
Like, it is, like, were I to pick one thing, I think that can have the biggest impact on your house for the lowest cost and lowest investment, especially now with smart bulbs and smart, you know, you don't need to be like installing anything.
And it's
lighting.
nice.
Like, it is so key.
When you rent as well, quite often rental spaces are like kitchen come living in London. And I just think like, turning off the zones as I go through the nights. Like, I'll turn off my kitchen zone, then I turn off my dining zone, and then I'm just in, and like, this is only about like a 2.5 meter room, you know what I mean? And I'm turning it off as I go, but my lights have a lower Kelvin, as I move around. So my melatonin's rising before I get into bed, and my bedside lamps are the lowest Kelvin. So like, it's just making sure that you feel really like zen by the time you get in, so you can
love that.
And everyone looks better in like, the big light. The big light is me getting interrogated for something I've done that's illegal.
Oh my god!
Right?
I'm hammering this drum. Like,
I've never looked worse.
Like 8 overhead lights.
Anytime I see like an interview,
You look suspicious.
You look hideous.
And terrifying and old, and nobody looks good.
I look 74 anytime. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen interviews of like the overhead light. The minute I see it, I'm like, I'm literally going to look like a goblin. They're going to be like, oh, here's Laura de Barra from outer space. Come on in. It's like, you look horrific. Whereas like lighting, it's good for you. It's good for your guests. It's good for your mood. It's so cheap to do as well. Like all my lamps, I think are... Looking at them now, I think nearly all of them are second hand. Like you pick a lamp up, like this one I think was 12 quid, including the shade, in a charity shop, and it's like a big brass lamp. It's like that's something I always look for, and lamps are nearly always sold in pairs traditionally. So getting one usually means it's way cheaper.
Yeah. And lamps, you can do a lot with lamps. You can swap out the lampshades. If you find something that you like in a charity shop, just make sure the electric's up to scratch and off you go. Like,
and it's easy to replace. Like usually you can buy. If it's a lamp like that lamp there, for example, or I've got these other really old ones, usually you can just slip out the cord and buy a new one that is pat tested and slip it back in. It's like, especially with vintage ones, but most charity shops won't sell you them unless they've been pat tested and they'll have the sticker on it. So it's like, it's much better than buying new, I think.
So is that how you electrocuted yourself, or is there a better story than that?
The electrocution was... I can't even talk about it. It was awful. It was pretty bad. Like
my dad's electrocuted himself a load of times. He's very similar. He's very hands-on. He'll try anything, and he's usually good at it. But he has electrocuted himself a couple of times.
It's awful. It wasn't. To be fair, it was me touching something that should have been turned off and shouldn't have been live, and it was me just like reaching behind something. But it was awful. I actually like fell back with it. It was like
Oh god!
I know, and I could feel it in my finger. But I didn't know. I didn't even know there was a live wire behind where. Anyway, I'm alive.
I remember seeing an interiors account on Instagram, and she was changing the faceplates on her light switches, but she hadn't turned off the power. And I was watching her do it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And she ended up in hospital. She got such a bad shock. And I was
put all that on Instagram.
She was like putting it on as the warning afterwards, but she was sharing it before that, and then there was no stuff, so it obviously happened on one of the switches or something. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Imagine changing the faceplates and the switches without turning off your power.
When I clean my washing machine, I turn off the fucking circuit.
Yeah. Like I'm really paranoid.
Yeah. Like I'm so paranoid, and I think it's because like you're never going to regret taking an extra safety measure, but you'll always regret if you didn't and something went wrong. Even if I'm doing something tiny on an appliance, that not just the appliance is going off, the circuit's going off for me.
Yeah. And just double down with the little phase tester as well, like just to be safe, because like it's no joke. It's no joke.
Those things are more powerful than us. Like it's water and electricity. Like.
Yeah, those are the things I think that scare people from doing some of this house stuff. Do you know? And like I think people think that will happen. You'll get a shock or whatever. So it's like, how do you teach people to kind of do that safely? I guess not knowing how to properly, or think you did the right trip switch, or you didn't switch off the whole circuit. Like, how do you kind of like build people's confidence to say, no, you can do this, but this is how you should learn it, and this is how you should do it safely?
I think I always say, what's behind the walls is none of your business. Like, so just don't even. There's trades who are professionals in that for a reason. And if you think about how long an electrician or a plumber has to basically train for, and like they have to do internships even where they're just shadowing someone, they're not actually doing anything. And that takes years. Like when we're working with people, they're always shocked at how much people just go in and do something. Like if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you're not aware what you're doing, just don't do it. If it's something where you're turning off a circuit, like this is why I illustrated like the full circuit board for Gaff Goddess, and like how everything works and who the mother is and what turns this off and what stops you getting a shock that travels through your body and all that kind of stuff. Understanding that will help you be like, I know the circuit's off, I know it's fine, I know what a stopcock is, I know where it's located, I know how to turn it off. But I think if you start with the things that make a massive visual impact and you get them right, like putting up a curtain pole or hanging up a picture or building some flat back furniture, and you go slow and you go steady, and when you make a mistake you question, why did I make the mistake, how do I not make that again, or if I make it again, how do I make it less of a mistake, then you'll build up to it. But going straight into like installing a washing machine yourself, it can make you, it can make, the stress can make it feel not worth it.
Yeah, for sure. And the damage is so huge then if it goes wrong.
Yeah, and listen, most stuff, like you're not putting a roof on a gaff, you'll be okay, like you will be fine. But when I was doing something new, like let's say balancing a washing machine, I used to be really scared of, because you get videos from tenants sometimes where washing machines are walking out of the cupboard door, and you're just like what, like there's damage to the walls, everything. And when you're balancing it, you're like, how do I know I get this right? But I used to just watch tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. The next time an engineer would come in for a washing machine, I'd be like, how do you know it's balanced? They would talk me through it. Then I would do it. Then I would sit and watch like every single, I'd be like, what's the fastest load? Like, what's the one that goes the quickest? So that I could make sure it was done. But it is more like just trialing it, going slowly, being thorough. Like, you're never going to regret watching an extra YouTube video with the warning on it.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much out there. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that, the building confidence thing. When you're thinking about, like, I love the tips on thrifting for lamps, making the place your own, all that kind of stuff. Where would you say you'd advise people to make investments in their house, be it Decor, be it DIY, be it anything at all? Like, where do you know kind of where is worth spending the money and where is it not worth it?
Like, it depends. Like, if somebody was saying to me they were, let's do different rooms, right? Like, in your bedroom, I would always think where I'd be investing from like a furniture point of view, a great bed. Like, mattresses are up to you.
Oh God, 100%.
Some people can sleep, no jokes, on a shite mattress. Stunning. The mattress is, I feel like, because of social media and a lot of interior influencing, we've been duped into thinking that the mattress is the most important thing in the world and it needs to be firm. And that may not be the case. If you're a side sleeper, you need your hips to be able to dip into it. But you're getting influenced by people who've never even bought the mattress. They got the mattress for free, about what you need for a mattress. So mattresses I would never kind of tell people about, but the actual bed, making sure that the fixtures and fittings, and it's not creaking and it's not moving as you sleep and it's not falling apart every time you go to bed. Like, I would be more inclined to buy a second-hand solid wood bed than buy a brand new. But then people also, if you have a small bedroom, buying a thin bed frame so you've got more walking space, like really considering who your bed is and what she's doing in the room. And then walls-wise, like, I would always try and go for a low box paint, so like the volatile organic compounds, because that's being released at nighttime. Like, when you're renting, you don't have that much choice. I would always make sure that your window dressing, like, I would invest. And like, I'm, even what I have here is only those like £40 blackout curtains from IKEA, but they're hung in a way with like a sheer panel behind it. It's aesthetically nice. I have three different options throughout the day of where my curtains are. It makes the room feel more like you can adapt it to you. Then in something like a kitchen, don't fuck around on your countertops. Just do not fuck around with the countertops. I would rather not get the expensive handles, get inexpensive handles for the first year. You'll save maybe £100, put an extra £100 onto the countertop. If you are buying the big appliance like the oven and the extractor and things like that, like, you can get them a bit cheaper because they only will last, let's say, a certain amount of time. But the countertop, when it starts failing, is a nightmare. And then you've got to get a cut around everything. So I would really be looking as well at things like, are the appliances fit for you? You know, there's some things that I hate on an induction hob, when you've got to keep pressing the button to make the temperature go up. I like when there's a glide, like things like that wreck my head. When it comes to the living room, your sofa, in modern life, I just think having a spare bedroom, why? Unless you have loads of rooms. I just think that is actually a second living room. It's an office, it's a hobby room, it's a creative room, it's a dressing room. So I think, like, in your living room, think of things like sofa beds, you know, a nice, comfortable sofa. But I think a lot of times, again, I think this is through influencing women to consume in a certain way within the domestic sphere. We are told that we should have certain types of sofas, and that they tick a box for being a certain type of homeowner. Whereas you need to think about your body positions with a sofa. Like, are you a reader? Are you a lounger? Do you sit upright? Do you like your legs rested? Do you have any ailments that need you to sit a certain way? And build your sofa out there. Because there's always a visual about what the housewife, what kind of sofa she has at any given time, you know? So that, like, in your living room, if TV is something that you watch a lot, go for a great sofa. But I think just dividing your home up into, like, what's my intention for this space and what's the best thing I can do here is ideal.
There's so much coming through there, Laura, and so much of it is, like Kate and I say, I think on pretty much every episode, like, every time you think of any room, first thing is decide how are you going to use it, and then you can design all around that. You can worry about the colour last, you can worry about everything else comes later, but how are you going to use the room? And I think the other thing that's really coming through for me on what you were saying that really resonates with us for sure is it's a lot about quality. Like you're looking
Yeah.
at quality. It's not necessarily what's the price tag or what's the, you know, aesthetic appeal or anything. It's really like, where's the quality, where's the longevity, and there's so, like, you have so much good stuff on your Instagram, but just keeping, I mean, I've jeans in the washing machine there that are going to last a couple of years longer now since your last reel, but like there's so much you have around like making sure things really last and last well, and that you get the best out of things. And I love that so much, because you're right, like it's, you know, and I say this as somebody who does post on Instagram and who does like advise people to buy things, but like you have to be careful where you're getting influenced, and where
like it's nice to buy stuff, you know.
What's
I think
useful
like
for you,
telling people you can't buy anything and you must buy this and you must buy that, like, no, it's nice, and people like to hear about things that people would advise to shop on, and especially seasonally. I think the kind of trope that like we can only be mindful about our stuff if we tell people to stop shopping, personally I think it's bullshit. And I also think
it's
that
not
like,
possible.
well, we're just kind of like designed in a way that we do like to buy something, but I think what we're missing these days is like the shopping experience of it, you know, the actual experience where we can forget who we are when we're shopping. And I think women for decades have been advising each other in a really nice way on what to buy. It's just that it got out of hand on a certain part of social media, but it also gave women an opportunity to be part of something, i.e. social media, and earn more than men. So yes, part of me is like the consumption has fucked the planet up, but there is a small positive where women from their homes, from the domestic space, have been earning more money than their husbands who are going out to work and being seen in society as a better person. You know, it's like, oh, it's like the cost was the planet, but it is something, you know, where, you know, women advising on shopping is because, I don't know, it's like it's something that it's either been like bred into us or it's natural. But I do think there's more care when we're advising about stuff, you know, not always, like there is a lot of fast consumption out there. But I think when you're buying for your home, if I'm buying a frame for my hallway and there's not going to be much movement around the wall or anything like that, like I can buy a cheaper frame and the light's not catching off it because there's no windows in the hallway. I don't mind that it's plastic and it has a glare on it. Whereas if I'm buying a frame in my living room, I don't want glare. It's going to be seen all the time. I'm going past that wall all the time. I'll spend a bit more. It's like intention for the item. I think the days of going into H&M home and buying everything that's on trend, placing it all around the home, and then getting rid of it at the end of the season and bringing back in another trend, I think it's preventing us living in something that's really human, which is creating a space that lives with us, like a relationship with our stuff. And I think that's damaging. I think if you don't have a relationship with things that are around you, be it you only own 10 things in your home or you own 100 things, if you're minimal or not, having a relationship with stuff is really important, because I think it has a knock-on effect into our relationship with our bodies as well. You know, like looking after things, learning that things fail, learning that things break down, how to repair, how to be gentle with stuff. I think there's a real link between stuff and how we treat our own body as well.
I don't
think you coined this phrase, but you definitely brought it to my attention ages ago. Was how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah,
I do think about that a lot. Like it really sticks with me, because sometimes you'd be having a day and you're like, oh feck it, I'll just get the whatever, or I'll just do the whatever. I'm just not going to work out. And then I'm like, actually, like I don't take it to mean I have to do everything absolutely perfectly, but I do take it to mean like just stop for a second and think like, what is the right next thing for you to do here that's going to work for you today or this week or whatever. And maybe that does mean skipping the gym, but then rest instead. Or maybe that does mean, you know, buying the cheap item because you've loved it and you've been walking past it 3 days or whatever, but then keep it and put it somewhere. And exactly. It's just a bit of a stop and thought. It's really stuck with me, that one. I really love it.
I love it too. I don't even know where it even kind of came from, but it was something I used to always say. Like, it's a famous phrase for years and years and years, but sometimes when I'm struggling to do something that I know I'll wish later on, like my fucking leaving cert, wish I knew it back then. But like, you know, where you're like, this is something that it's an approach I always think, like, how you do anything is how you do everything. Just get through it, just smash it out, you can rest afterwards. But I do think like women in general have such a thing drilled into them about things being perfection, that instead how you do anything, how you do everything is you are understanding of yourself as well. You know, if you want to like skip the gym, are you going to the gym for, if you suddenly start thinking, no, it's because I wanted to get healthier or like to make, you know, my cardio I don't know, I hate cardio, so this will never be me, but like I wanted to increase my cardio ever. I wanted to increase my cardio this week. I just want to hit that kind of goal. If it's because it's like to do with how your body looks aesthetically, then skip the fucking gym because you're feeding into something that isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it like there is a word there that you mentioned around intention that I think just matches with that so well, which is one to bear in mind for anyone going through anything really, but especially renovation or decoration or anything, is that layer of just stopping, thinking about yourself and your own intention and what you need to get out of this, and then progress from there and whatever's right for you.
Yeah.
It's a break from the distraction of all the advertising and everything that's out there, which is all fine. But
I really love that thought though about like making the most of what you already have, and even just I saw someone post recently and it was like, maybe you don't need to redecorate the room, maybe you need to just switch some stuff around, and they just like rearrange furniture and rearrange some stuff on the shelves, and then it was a whole new room. And it was just like making the most of what you have. And to your point about like maintaining stuff, like I've renovated a few old houses now, and just like the lack of little bits of maintenance, the massive damage that did, like structural damage to timbers and whatever, like with beautiful window box in the house we're renovating at the moment, they just never painted it, so it just rotted through, so we've so much structural timbers to do. So like that kind of stuff, I'm like, that little bit of maintenance, if you can just learn to make the most of what you already have rather than bringing more stuff into the mix to make that stuff better.
Exactly. It's like if you had 20 boyfriends, right? How could you tell that something's wrong with one of them? So if you've got loads of stuff, how do you keep an eye on what's going wrong, right? So like I think like if you bring more and more stuff in and you've got 15 chairs, how do you know that that one chair needs your attention and needs your love? Like we start to miss what our home is crying out for if we're covering it in stuff. And I also think like I'll pass in a hallway in a block at work and there'll be like a lot of water damage, and I know straight away that that's someone's shower because the silicone has been cracked, or maybe that the bath is like lowering lower that it should be each time they shower. It's easy to fix, but then it's going into the place down below. There's a big massive problem. And then also it means that tiles are getting ripped out, things are being destroyed that don't need to be destroyed. It's not just like the effort and the money that's being spent or the insurance claim. Like you're just destroying stuff that didn't have to go to landfill because the simple maintenance, ripping off the silicone, reapplying it with the bath full of water would have just saved that,
Yeah.
I love that as well. There's so much in there around intention and like just respect for your home as well. You have like so many DIY tips. Is there anything that you, like somebody listening to this episode right now, maybe you're in your home, maybe you're walking home from work, whatever it might be, but you're like, I would just love to do a little walk through my home, my house, whatever, and think about where could I give it a bit of love and attention? Like where do you see the biggest areas that you're like, you know what, you just have to do this every few months, few years, whatever, and it's easy to do? Like that one
like
around resealing the bath. I actually know I need to do that right now.
Resiliconing is one of the biggest updates you can give your bathroom, and it's a pain in the fucking hole to do. It's a horrible job because when you're taking it out, you have to take it out immaculately or the new silicone won't stick to the surface. Then when you think it's off, it's not off, go around it again. Then you've got to get like all different products. Like it's a lot, but when it's done, it refreshes like that. Even when you're a renter, you can do it as well. Your landlord's never going to fucking know. Like refreshing tiles. I do this like S method when we go into places where you're going to take in like the ceiling along the walls and along the floors. And you just take a note. There's like a checklist in Gaff Goddess. Or you're just taking a note of everything. Even like under your sink, you can be knocking your stopcock the whole time through when you're taking out floor cleaner, and it's not actually exactly where you need it to be, and it's affecting the flow of your water throughout your home and you don't even realize. Or like under your kitchen sink, we're knocking those pipes all the time. When you're putting hot water through, the pipes are expanding, coming back together, and they can lead to leaks, which can end up damaging a lot of stuff. But just knowing that you're checking in on that, tightening all the bends up, making sure you don't have a leak under there. It's kind of like peeking into the places, trying your chargers in every single socket, like even like vacuuming down parts of your home and getting to know what's there. Sometimes you'll see a little bit of mold, and like you'll see something in like a bathroom or the back of a wardrobe, there's mold on clothes. You need to check that humidity. You need to make sure that there's not that much moisture in the air. Getting into spaces that you're not walking through like every day, I think is super important. So like sweeping through the rooms and just checking. But Gaff Goddess does have a great checklist, and it divides it into like times of the year as well. Like you wouldn't be doing your gutters like at certain times of the year. You'd be doing it before winter starts. You'd be clearing it out. And there's different times of the year that you should paint in. But I do think that we don't check in on our homes enough.
No, we really don't.
No, like we should be like, your extractor fan, you should be like most, like I live in a flat, so we don't have extractor fans, we have recirculation fans, and most people don't know the difference. And recirculation fans means every time it's taking it up into the air, it's going through a grease filter, a charcoal filter, and the charcoal filter is deodorizing and it's sending the air back into my living room to surround me. And if you don't replace that charcoal filter, it's crap air. It's not being, the odor's not coming out of it. It's coming back in. But cleaning those filters should be at least once a month. Your dishwasher filter should be rinsed weekly. Your washing machine filter should be done quarterly. We don't do these things, and that dirt is just staying stagnant and reducing the lifetime of the appliance. Like, we're not taught to check in on these things.
Totally.
Yeah,
And it, like, it's a big one as well at the moment. It's always a big one because you always want to prevent problems before they occur. It's so much cheaper. It's also bloody impossible to get anyone out to do anything these days.
Yeah.
Like, I always laugh at Kate. Like, I had a plumber recently. I was trying to get my upstairs sink wasn't draining properly, and he ghosted me. The plumber ghosted me. Like, he just was like, yeah, I can fix that. And I was like, brilliant, like when suits. And then it just never.
No, it's awful. People say that
I followed
people
up
say
so many times.
dating.
He was like,
When people are like, "Oh, dating is so hard out there," I'm like, "You've never had to hire trades."
yeah.
I am
Soul
rock
destroyed.
solid. I can be ghosted to fuck for the rest of my life because I have dealt with trades for 8 years. Like, you know, I have waited. You've never, people are like, I was dressed up for a date, he never showed. I'm like, try standing next to a leak for 2 days and no one showing up. It's funny. Like, it is so hard because emergencies come up, you know, like, and they're taking a better paying job. I get it. But yeah, it's tough out there.
It's hard, yeah. And just prevention is always better than cure.
Yes.
So there's just something so important around maintenance and just like getting ahead of any little black spot you see in your shower or any little drip of water you see under your sink or anything. Plumbing is probably the number one, I think. I know you mentioned electricity as well, but like nothing messes up a house or an apartment like plumbing or bad ventilation.
And hidden water, like where something's been just dripping away without anyone realizing is so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have rotted floorboards and everything. It's a disaster. Okay, off the back of that then, I'm really curious to know, like, what, we kind of touched on this at the start, but like, what do you see people making? Like, is there something you just want to take homeowners or renters and just shake them and be like, you eat it? Like, did you not know? How do you not know how to, like, what do you see, biggest mistakes do you see people making that you know would just help them have such a nicer home, home living experience?
A lot of times I see people just don't take in measurements, something as simple as that. Like, and you know, even friends of mine.
Measure 3 times, listener.
Yeah,
3 times minimum.
Even when you measure for like a wardrobe, like I have friends of mine, super clever, like they're pretty wise people, but they've measured their wardrobe once, twice, 3 times, but they haven't taken in the skirting boards, and they can't remove the skirting boards. They're renting, they can't get slimmer skirting boards. So the whole wardrobe, like when you're buying a wardrobe, you spend weeks researching that. Or like they'll take in the measurement for the bed mattress, but they won't take in how thick the frame is and how wide the frame is and how it impacts everything else in the room. I think properly, like what I used to do is I used to have 2 beds that I used to install for one family office, and I actually cut them out in tarps. So one was a king and one was a double, not mattress, the actual bed frame. And I used to carry them around in 2 poly pockets in my bag. And when an agent was like, what do you think of this property? I used to like fling it out onto the floor and be like, right, it fits the double, it doesn't fit the king. So when people are buying or going to rent, and if you've non-negotiables like sofas, beds, like dining tables, bring a cutout of it, or bring a bed sheet that's pinned into the same shape or taped into the same place, and put it out onto the floor and see if things actually fit. Like if it's a proper non-negotiable, like an antique or like a family heirloom or something you have to live with for the next few years, the duration of the tenancy, bring it with you, because our awareness of space is not like what it used to be. You know, we do a lot on screens and a lot of stuff just like slots together for us in other ways, but I think we've become bad at managing space. And I also think people don't manage their lighting, but like we've already covered that. I think like I don't think people realize like the difference that soft lighting and lamps can make. Just makes a house seem so much more enjoyable and expensive.
Yeah. On that measuring thing, I remember I'm sitting at my dining table now and I had just like a roll of masking tape and just like big sheets of paper, and I was just like literally marking out like where could I put in the bench seating that I'm sitting on here, like what size dining table can I actually fit, what does that mean for the dining chairs, like am I going to be able to fit 2 or 3, or people going to be like banging themselves off the kitchen countertop like walking behind me or what. But like measuring is hard. We mentioned before on the previous episode that you can get like a laser measure on Amazon for like 50 quid, and it is a really good investment, especially if you're if you're doing up a house and you've got a good few things you can buy.
The Bosch one's cheaper and it's even better.
Bosch.
The Bosch one, for 50 quid you can get the laser measure. It also like fits almost like a lipstick into your bag. It is like fucking stunning. Ooh, and then they also have a pipe, cable and stud finder, and you can get the two of them in a pack together. And then you can, for 70 I think it is, add in one of the lasers that you can do straight lines when you're doing painting and hanging. And I've had
amazing.
The Bosch laser measure, Jesus Christ, the Bosch laser measurer I've had for I'd say 6 years. I've only changed the batteries maybe twice in it. It's incredible. And it's so worth it.
Gosh.
Totally worth it. I think mine is Bosch as well. I think it's unreal. I use it all the time.
They're great. They're really good.
Yeah,
Bosch measure.
That was actually going to be my next question. What are your favorite tools? But you've just said them.
I love Bosch. And like when Bosch, like, because I don't do much like spawn and stuff, I get really like, it takes me a while to figure out if I really want to work with the brand, and sometimes the brand is just launching something new, so I'm like, well, no, like I don't want to just be in touch with you, so launch something new. But when Bosch got in touch, they were like, we noticed like in all your videos you're using Bosch, and that I go like, oh my god, it's Bosch appliances in this new flat that you've just bought at work. And I think they were just like, this is gas, because I'm like, this means I'm not getting called on a Sunday morning because the washing machine is broken. I'm not getting tenants in tears because the dishwasher's leaked all over something. Like, I just know they're reliable. So like when they were like, let's work together, and it's not for a particular product, like we just want to work together, I was like, this is like a dream come true. Like, I know the way people like have other dreams, like they want to be taken to Paris and propose to the Eiffel Tower, but like me getting to work with Bosch, I was like, so like they're the tools that I almost always use. But that's the advice I always give people kind of going into DIY. Buy the best tools you can afford. Like if you can spend £12 on a hammer, get the hammer that's £12. Even if you see one that looks the same for £8, there will be something in that hammer. Like I have a guide in Gaff Goddess on like, you know, what ounce the hammer should be, what extra features you should be buying if you're going up in price, things that make the job easier. Like painting with cheap rollers and brushes will take you longer. If that's all you can afford, no problem. But if you can add an extra, because in tools, sometimes an extra £2 makes a massive difference. Like in a roller, spending an extra £150, you'll have a roller that's not, like, you'll rinse it beforehand anyway, but it's not losing a lot of fibres onto the walls. It's those, like a few quid, I don't think people realise how much of a difference, because with everything else, like with makeup, clothes, accessories, when you need to go up a level, it's like £10, £5, and that's a lot overall. But if you spend an extra 10 to 15 quid on your entire painting kit, the difference in the final result and in how you feel during it, like siliconing a bath with the £3.50 silicone gun is sore on your hand. It's really hard to get the finish. Doing with a £5.50 silicone gun, bitch, it's like Porsche. Honestly, like the handle rotates around the edge. You can like click the button to turn it off really quickly. Like the £3.50 one doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about you. It's just there in physical form. The rotating one is like the best lover you have ever had. Like it's like you're in the zone. Like it's so good. I play like pull up to the bumper every time I silicone. I swear to God, it's like the most erotic thing I do at work. I am obsessed with siliconing.
Oh, brilliant.
It's my Friday evening class.
Yeah.
Girls, honestly.
Jen's like, I'm off to B&Q. See you later.
Yeah. Straight out. See you later, lads.
One that feels good in the hand is my best advice.
That is words to live by.
Honestly, what you're looking for is weight, girth, and a rotating head. Stunning.
Story of our lives.
Just in case people just joined, we are actually talking about hand tools.
We're talking about siliconing specifically. Much to your disappointment, potentially.
Yeah, brilliant.
Do you have a toolkit? Do you have a toolkit that you bring everywhere?
I have a mini that I'll bring with me if we're doing viewings, for example. I'll always bring like a small kit. Like I'll bring the stud and laser finder just to make sure, like you can tell if something's like a supporting wall, but it's like, does this wall have brains behind it? Like, is this a key wall in the house that's like hooking a lot of stuff up, or is this an internal stack for other flats? I'll have that for that. I usually bring like a marble so you can see if the floors are like even or not. Because the estate agents are always like, the gaslighting is unbelievable. You know, they're like, that is the most level floor that you've ever seen in your entire life, and the marble is like rolling like this along it. And you're like, okay, babe. But like I'll bring like measure tape and a few other bits. Like sometimes you will bring a screwdriver because there'll be panels. You're like, what's behind that? And you can flick it off. But my regular toolkit is just the one that's in Gaff Goddess with like like hammers, Allen keys, all of that, just the stuff that I need at work. But I store it all. I have like a space isn't exactly like a thing in my flat. Everything, every cupboard has to be so strategic. So I have like this pull out, it's on wheels, like a rail with all different shelves. And I have like all my tools on the bottom shelf. I just make sure that it's near one of the air vents, like just there's air circulating around it. I love my tools, but it's next to my sewing kit, and they're both things that like on a rainy Sunday in January, I'll bring it all out and like rub everything down and like put everything away and like clean down my sewing machines and my overlockers and my drill. I just I like to look after them.
Nice.
I have one final question, Kate. You might have more, but that is something you were saying there about like, levering something up or rolling down marbles. For someone who's looking for a house, be it to buy or to rent, a house or an apartment, do you have any like top tips for what to look for? Like get under the hood and just check for this, and if you see it, walk away or be cautious or anything like that.
Yeah. So like I call it like let's swish fish, and it's like basically it's on. I'm sure it's on my website, the rental one. But what you're looking for is you want to see. I won't even do it in order now, but like. You want to see if there's the Wi-Fi and everything is set up for your phone contract. We have a lot of tenants that move in and they're like, my phone just doesn't work in the flat. Like you want to make sure that, and I have had so many people move out to, we got a plot of land through family. We have no Wi-Fi now for the next 4 years until Wi-Fi comes into the area. Just check services like that. Check hot water and heat. So when you want, let's say the heating on, if it's electric, are you okay with the expense that electric is? Are there many heaters that are throwing enough heat? Like in this home, for example, there's a lot of heat on this side of the room, but not a lot there. So I have to make sure that it was triple glazing on that side, that I'd be warm and I wasn't paying to heat up the whole room. With hot water, check if it's instant. A lot of homes, it's not instant hot water. Especially if you're renting, are you okay for the next year or 2 years having to preheat your water? Does that suit you at night? Does it suit you in the morning? I would always check that security-wise, like check the front door. Watch the agent open it up and close it. So many times I've seen the agent like fiddling with it or it looked really unsafe. That's like a big no-no for me. If it's on the ground floor, are all the windows secure? Is anyone overlooking you? Can somebody hop the wall? Like you have to make sure that the home feels really secure. Obviously I'm looking at space and appliances as well. Like check out the washing machine, like your clothes are going in there. Like is it something you can actually clean? Like the oven is the same. Is it stuff you can actually live with on a day-to-day basis? I'm trying to remember what else is in that list. They're just like they're the main things, like I think also whenever I'm searching for something, I basically will put in my budget and then I search oldest first, because if there's a rental flat on the market for the past 4 months and let's say it's $2,000 a month, they've lost $8,000 already being on the market. So you're immediately able to negotiate, because if they stay on another one, then it's $10,000, you're affecting their yield. So I would straight away be going into oldest on the market first. And let's say your budget is $1,500 a month. Set your budget to $2,000, oldest first, and I guarantee you'll get stuff that are $2,000 a month for $1,500 because they're kind of desperate to get them rented. They've just
really good
properties
advice.
only
Really
have
good.
this. I call it like the.
I'm sure that works for purchasing property too, like somebody who's been sitting on a property that's on the market for a while. Maybe there's a reason. Be careful going eyes wide open, but you're probably doing them a favor. You've got a better chance of.
Well, there's
coming
a
in
glow
under.
time, right? There's about like a 2 to 4 week time in property if you go on at certain times of the year where you are the new bitch in town. Everyone's talking about you. Everyone wants to see you. But then the next wave of properties come out, and if you don't have a hungry enough agent, or there's a bit of a disconnect with your agent, you can end up dropping off and you can't keep that momentum. And if you're not ringing your agent to say, change my front picture because people think they've seen me before, let's make them think it's another property so they click in. If you're not proactive and your agent's not proactive, the agent's going to rely on you dropping your price to bring you back up into the market. If you don't want to drop your price, you end up stagnant. And then that's where people who want to buy or rent can start negotiating with you. So always look for oldest first. They're the people who are probably open for it or have been too stubborn on their price and need to come down anyway.
Great tip.
Amazing.
And I always think as well, like if you're not sure or you're like, everything looks fine, I just don't trust you for whatever reason, always go and talk to the neighbours. They'll tell you.
And the neighbours
They'll
will
tell you it's because
fucking
there's
everything.
like foxes freaking out in the back garden in the evenings or something. You never know.
Yeah.
But if they say it's fine, then it usually probably is.
Or they'll say, my unlucky one is nearly always, they're like, well, when he died in the front bedroom, we all knew. And I'm always like, because the agents always say, oh, it was a couple, like they work in IT and they've moved to the countryside because of COVID. And then you get in and you find like the death certificate in the ashes and you're like, okay, brilliant. Like they forgot to pick these up. Like these aren't two hipsters who've moved to Bath. Like, you know what I mean? I now have a ghost to help me flat pack. Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
And with that, I think we should probably wrap up.
You should come to work for a day with me. Come to work for a day with me.
Not
Would love
joking.
it.
I would love that. When can we do that?
Oh my God, we have to. And then we end in a martini. I'll take you to like the best kind of like really low light. We'll love it. Tiny lamps, stunning martinis. And then we can just like catch up
the
on
lowest
the
Kelvins in London. I can't wait.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay, thank you so much. We're just going to
you.
have to do this again. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
know.
I'm
Next
finding it really
season,
hard to
I'll
cut
come
off the conversation, so please come back. And thank you so much. And listener, thank you so much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye. If you found that episode useful, please do us a huge favour by giving us a like and a few stars, and especially click that subscribe button. Thank you.